Hey guys, how's it going? Got a quick story for y'all. Well, nah, quick is fine. So, I want to tell you guys a time that I helped a bird learn to fly. Well, again, like I said, it's a different bird from the one I knew before. She was tailor. She's the one that makes the costumes that me and my friends cosplay as. And, well, she was one of the ones that wore them too. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. So let's just say after an undisclosed amount of time with a whole heap of drama and bullets, I discovered that I had the ability to turn super, as they call it. Go figure, just like the little hedgehogs on the screen that pop up on the telly. But I don't know how to do it as well as they do. And while whenever I'm not insect form, I'm actually pretty like okay. Like I guess my body just heals after I use it. I can't use it for very long. It used to just be I could only do it for like at the most 20, 30 seconds because it would basically drain me. I'd get like tired afterwards. However, I figured, no time like the present, might as well start like training, trying to maintain it, so to speak. Kind of just idle with it for a while, see how long I can drag it out. Because I figured with how basic stamina works, the more strenuous I am with it, the faster it will drain. Kind of like a battery. So I figured, you know, get the form, maintain the form, coast. And then, work on flying, moving really fast, even try activating some of my abilities here and there. Just kind of just see how far and how long I can push that timer to where I can go from like let's say 30 seconds to 40, 45, a minute, etc., etc., etc. I just like the idea of having it in my back pocket. And if I need to extend it, I can extend it longer. So, one of the days that happened, oh, sorry, haven't had my morning coffee yet. At 12 in the afternoon, 1 in the afternoon. Oh, it's almost 2 in the afternoon. But I was practicing my flying skills, but this was still early on. I was trying to see how far I can go before it went out. Now, the problem with that being that, well, just going through it, I didn't know exactly how long I could hold it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fly around the city, try to get my bearings and get used to it. Yeah, that didn't work. I ended up crashing through the 10th floor of a building, which, lo and behold, that's why I ran into her. Turns out oh, sorry, I keep saying she. Her name is Monik, by the way. Monik. Monik. Nice lady. Little Phoenix. So turns out she worked there as a game designer. She did artwork and like helped like animate models and characters and even sprite work and pixels for games. So she was just staying late one night working when I basically crashed through. Now, typically, when you see someone fly through a window, your first thought is maybe I should call somebody. Unless you're like a trained doctor or something. So she was gonna. At first, I thought she was gonna call the cops. So I basically rushed over and stopped her and just said, "I'm not here for nothing." But don't. Turns out she was actually trying to get a call like an ambulance because she thought I was hurt. So I was like, "Oh, whoops." I should probably let go of your arm then, huh? But yeah, I told her I was basically fine, and then made quick introductions. And I mean, I just couldn't help myself. Your boy had to turn on the charm a little bit. And so we started to talk afterwards. I got a number, and you know, every now and again, I just pop in to see her, which is actually kind of funny because her, her actual company kind of got mad at her because they thought she was like inviting people into the office after hours, and she had to explain to them like, "Do you see this giant gaping hole in the wall? on the 10th floor. How exactly would I be able to even get that going? So they were, I don't know, her company is just a bunch of assholes, greedy motherfuckers. They were really trying to dock her pay over something she literally had no control over. But I figured, mischievous little guy that I am, if they're gonna complain about me being there, I'll give them a real reason to complain. So I snuck back in one night to visit her. You know, just see how she's doing. 'Cause she'd be working them late nights. Snuck my way in and basically invited her out to the roof. I was like, "Hey, take 5. You're working hard. You don't gotta be like you want to go home. That's fine, but like don't just stay here staring at a screen for hours. It'll drive you mad." Yeah, it turns out she has a fear of heights, and I pointed out how ironic that was, considering the fact that 10th floor. But she's like, I don't have to look outside, and also like my desk area isn't near the windows, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair. So I offered, in a sense, because like I said, I've been practicing. Take her for a flight. She didn't know what I meant by that. Before I could explain further, security noticed that I was here, and obviously I don't want to fight the guy. So when he basically came for me, leapt off the roof, used my grapple line, got away. But I didn't like the idea of the moment being ruined, so I waited a bit. I looked over the building schematics. Thank you, Boo, for that one. And I tried again. But for shits and giggles, when I snuck back in, I came in through the roof. And I broke every camera I found going down to their floor. I was going to also, take out the security, but, they're just doing their jobs. So I came in, got her again, popped in, with a little bit of red, some little sweets here and there I picked up from the store, and said, let's go back to the roof. And at first she protested, but I insisted. And she gave in, and we went back up there. So I asked her at one point while we were talking, just, what she's been up to, how she's been doing. She's been doing pretty good. She's been working on a lot of new projects, a lot of new games. And she even told me, too, that she really wants to have her own, like, kind of like how they have like a gala where people come together? She wants to do that, but with her costumes one day. Like celebrations of her work. And I was like, I mean, yeah, it's basically just a costume party. We can definitely do that. And she said she has like this really extravagant dress she wanted to throw on, and quite frankly, I think I'd like to see her in that. But I'm getting off topic. It basically during said conversations, we were talking, and I basically just climbed onto the railing. And so she thought I was drunk. I said no. She thought I was going to jump. I also said no. She tried to pull me down because she was worried that the wind would take me, and I said, well, you tried, and I threw us both off the roof. So obviously she was freaking out. I was fine, but it took her like a few brief screams to realize we weren't plummeting anymore, and that the sky just looked a little bit brighter. And so there we were in the air. And she was petrified at first. She didn't want to look down. So I told her, I was like, okay, you don't have to. Just relax and look at me. Because she tried to get me to take her back onto the roof, but I didn't do that immediately. That might have been my bad because she was so mad at me afterwards for that part. But, I moved slowly, of course, just flew around the building a little bit here and there. And just kind of like let her relax in the air with me. I did eventually move her to like the backpack position because I didn't like the idea of her thrashing about or panicking while I'm holding her. So I figured, best way to hold her is something where she could latch on to me if she needed to. It's not like she was going to choke me out. And then also, I'd be fine because, I got a good grip on her legs. So even if she did panic, pass out, or freak out, I'd still be able to keep her from like splattering. And so, took her right back afterwards. And I was like, so you feel any better? And she got mad. She got really mad. She started hitting me. But she also admit the gesture was kind of sweet. She just really wished I told her in advance what I was able to do. I told her that ruined the surprise. She got mad again. So, yeah. But every now and again, whenever I see her in town, if she's still working those nights, I'll sneak her away for a bit, and we'll fly around a little bit more. I think she's getting used to it. I mean, hell, she even stopped screaming. Ooh, maybe we can do it when she's in one of her costumes one day. That'd be fun.